oh the webs we weave. Look at your own life. Would some of your relationships more accurately have been called entanglements? Examine them. Understand the dynamics of them. Learn from them, and then forgive yourself.
Wow, forgiveness. We're going to talk about that one. Whew. It's a big one, too. Robert, do you have any thoughts?
Oh, boy.
Enough said.
I am no relationship expert, trust me. But what I love about this is sometimes the hardest thing to do is to forgive yourself for the choices you made in a relationship, the way you may have behaved. It's a loving focus. That's what I like about it. To just go, all right, if you can do this, you have to do it on your own first. You can't expect to get this from the other person, but just to go, okay, I was doing the best I can. I have to let go, forgive myself. And if you can really do that, then you can go to the other person and say, look, I'm sorry, whatever. Can we work this out? Whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, that's a tough one.
It is. And what does forgiveness really mean? Right? So people, I believe, get mired in the definition of forgiveness. It can look, I know back in the day, my idea of forgiveness was just sweeping it under the rug and trying to forget it, right? That's the best I knew at the time. But so what is the definition of forgiving? Like, I'd love to hear, Robert, yours, and yours also, David. What is your definition of forgiveness? Like, what does that look like for you?
Well, I think one thing is maybe to forgive. For me, like, why did I choose this woman? Why did I choose to get so involved with her? When I knew that things weren't working as we went along, I'm only speaking for myself. So that's where the forgiveness comes in, to understand, okay, well, I was attracted to her because, and of course, the deeper forgiveness is to forgive our own actions. Maybe it was my temper. Maybe it was my being too busy with work, whatever, to learn, okay, what can I learn from this? And it's a hard one.
Yeah.
It's a hard one. You got to be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
And sometimes that takes long after the relationship is done, unfortunately. But
why do you think it's so hard to be introspective? Why do you believe it's so difficult to look at yourself?
I think because we can be so critical, so it's like a defense. It's like, no, it's not me, it's you. It's kind of like, I'm the good guy and you're the bad guy. It's just a defense against maybe acknowledging that your actions were less than you wanted to be, or I don't know.
Which is so funny because the action already happened, right? So it's in the review of the action that we feel that way, right?
Right.
And so it's almost, and then we can, if you start talking about revisionist history, then you have other things tailed into that. But I think it's interesting how we can find, I'll speak for myself, I can find it difficult at times to be introspective and really take a look at what it was that I did, because we don't want to feel that bad feeling of shame or regret. And at the same time, the ego pops in and says, you have to protect yourself. You're always right, even though you know you were wrong.
Exactly.
But and it was just a choice. But maybe if there was a way that we could let go of the right and wrong, and it was just what it was at the moment, a teaching moment for us to look at ourselves. Because that's what I find a lot in situations where I'm up against it with somebody. I see them as a mirror, right? And I may say something really stupid and completely, off-colored to this person. And then when I review it, I'm almost looking at a mirror of myself and saying, this is where your past history of this is showing up. This is where you've made up a story about trauma, and this is how you are dealing with it now. All of these things are popping up at the same time. And once I realize what I'm bringing into the current situation is when I can say, okay, I forgive, and I'm still in practice of being the person that understands there's choice, that understands forgiveness and all of that. So I have grace with myself. Forgiveness to me means having grace.
Wow. And it takes courage to look in the mirror, right? It takes a lot of courage to look in the mirror. In fact, one of my poems, I don't have it with me today, but talks about, when you have all these, you look in the mirror and you see what you don't like, oh, I'm too fat, oh, I'm too old. But so what do you do in a situation like that? You don't like it. Well, you break the mirror. This way you don't have to deal with it.
Right.
You just break the mirror. And I'm not looking, I'm not going there. And I've had, a number of people in all sorts of things, especially in therapeutic situations where they get challenged. They go, oh, I'm not going there.
Yeah.
No way. Not gonna delve into that. They're not ready to, or they don't have the courage to, or they're not interested. Who knows what? But if the witness is your friend, then everything's okay. You did what you did. It happened, and now is now.
Yeah. But the forgiveness can only happen when the witness is your friend.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
When you allow the witness to truly be your friend.
Yes. Well, why wouldn't the witness be your friend? That's an interesting question. Who says the witness, if even there is a witness, who says the witness is not your friend? Why would it even not be your friend? Who would say that? I have an answer to that already. I think we've been schooled. There's certain religious points of view. A punishing God.
Absolutely.
The witness is not on your side.
Right.
The witness is going to hurt you.
You got to fear.
Yeah, you
Right.
better. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been schooled
Yeah.
to look at. I'll use the word a punishing God.
Absolutely. I mean, bring it all the way down to Santa Claus, right? Think about Santa Claus. If you're not good, you get coal. There's
Right.
they even sing songs about children. Some children have their gods or Santa, right? That seems to be their holiday god. And so, I think humans, especially in religious areas or religious households, this is a whole other conversation.
Right.
But, they are raised to believe this. And so, the Watcher being a friend, the Watcher to me is non-religious completely.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say that I see them as necessarily a friend, but I don't see them as a foe. I just see them as being neutral.
Yes.
They're just neutral.
There's just seeing what is.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly it.
What is.
In all of that term, what
Yes,
is.
just what is.
Period.
And in order to, how do you get to just seeing them from what is without judgment? It's friendly. It's not going to hurt you to see what is. So why wouldn't you choose to see what it is? To see what is.
Mm-hmm.
It's an empowering place.
It really is. It really, really is. And
Yes.
that's the piece that I hope lands with people who are listening and watching, is the idea that is incredibly empowering.
Yes.
Imagine being in a space of being judgment-free.
Wow.
What? What does that even feel like?
How do I get through life
Really.
without making judgments? There's so much fun on one end and so harmful on the other end.
Yeah.
You know, when I'm watching people walk by in the street, you know, a very, very overweight woman in yoga pants, I can judge, though she shouldn't be wearing those pants, you know what I mean? But what does that do for me? Where does that get me? You know, it gets me, you know, happy for a moment with gossip. It's nonsense.
Right.
You know, it's such a distraction.
Right. Well, gossip feeds the ego, though. So, you know, because
thank
you know something that
Thank you for
nobody else
reminding me.
knows.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Attachments. There we go again. Attachments.
Yes, Robert.
One thing I feel is that a real challenge that I find in terms of getting older, and, you know, you and I have talked about this, the coulda, shoulda, woulda,
Yeah.
you know, especially in terms of relationships. And that's where the forgiveness comes in, you know, to just go, I did what I did back then. It may not have been the smartest choice, but I didn't do any grave harm, but it was not a good choice. I realize that now.
Yes.
But the question is, can I forgive myself and let that go?
Yes. And the
let
other
it go.
person was there for their own needs and learning.
Exactly.
And so they were your partner in this dance, you know?
Absolutely.
Exactly.
You agreed to do this dance together.
They chose it.
Exactly.
They chose
Exactly.
You chose it. Some of it was hurtful, perhaps. Some of it was wonderful. And
My steps were not the greatest,
right,
but
right. Well, we learn. We get better at dancing as we get older, right? More experience.
With everything.
With everything.
Everything. The more experience we have, the better we typically get.